We have finally solved the enigma of Naomi Judd, and it is not a nice one. She was born as Naomi Judd. Diana Ellen Judd was a towering figure in the world of country music. She was born on January 11, 1946, in Ashland, Kentucky. Her influence reached far beyond the scope of her own spectacular career. Naomi's life was a strong combination of musical brilliance, resiliency, and devotion to family. She was the matriarch of the Judds, which is considered to be one of the most beloved songwriters in the history of country music. Her journey was just as motivational as the songs that she helped bring to life, beginning with her humble beginnings and culminating in her career as an artist who has won many Grammy Awards. The rich traditions of Appalachian music and storytelling had a significant impact on Naomi's early life, which she experienced while growing up in a tiny town. These roots imbued her compositions and performances with a profound feeling of authenticity and emotional resonance, which would later go on to fascinate audiences all over the world that she would sing for. Naomi's resolve to create a better life for herself and her family remained unshaken in spite of the fact that she was confronted with a number of personal hurdles, including bouts with depression and overall health problems. When Naomi Judd and her daughter Winona Judd came together to form the Judds in the late 1970s, it was a momentous occasion in her life that brought about a profound change. The harmonies that they created soon struck a chord with listeners of country music because they combined traditional country sounds with current themes that had a profound feeling of resonance. Throughout the 1980s and early 1990s, the team was responsible for a string of successful albums and singles, which earned them a number of Grammy Awards and Country Music Association distinctions. Not only did songs like Mama He's Crazy, Love Can Build a Bridge, and Grandpa, Tell Me About the Good Old Days become timeless classics, but they also became so because of the catchy melodies they featured and the sincere stories they told. Soon after Naomi Judd was diagnosed with hepatitis C in 1991, the famed mother-daughter country music duo known as the Judds, which consisted of Naomi Judd and her daughter Juana, went through an abrupt and painful breakup. Not only did this diagnosis mark a significant turning point in Naomi's life, but it also marked a significant turning point in the trajectory of their burgeoning musical career. During that time period, the general public did not have a comprehensive understanding of hepatitis C, which is a chronic liver illness caused by the hepatitis C virus. Naomi's diagnosis brought a new and somber reality to both their personal and professional life. Due to the difficulties she was experiencing in managing her health, Naomi made the painful decision to retire from performing with Winona. This decision effectively brought an end to the active career that the Judd had been pursuing together. The farewell concert that they performed turned out to be a landmark event, being the most successful musical event in the history of cable pay-per-view up to that point. This was despite the fact that their breakup was emotionally distressing. This event highlighted the enormous popularity of the band, as well as the devoted fan following that they have, highlighting the major impact that they have had on the country music landscape. The experience that Naomi Judd had with hepatitis C was channeled into advocacy and education because she was determined to use her personal health issue into a platform for larger benefit. In 1991, she established the Naomi Judd Education and Research Fund, which is a devoted endeavor with the purpose of increasing public awareness about hepatitis C. By means of this fund, Naomi endeavored to educate individuals about the disease, its symptoms, the necessity of early diagnosis and treatment, and potential preventative measures. Both Naomi's willingness to speak openly about her illness and her dedication to activism contributed to the reduction of the stigma associated with hepatitis C and brought much needed attention to a condition that was frequently ignored or misunderstood. Through her position as a spokesmodel for the American Liver Foundation, she was able to further amplify her efforts by utilizing her public image and platform to raise awareness, encourage liver health, and support research. In 1993, Naomi Judd was presented with the coveted Golden Plate Award by the American Academy of Achievement in recognition of her outstanding achievements as an artist and as a champion for health education. Her dedication to this cause was widely acknowledged, and she was honored with this award. After undergoing treatment with interferon alpha, which was a revolutionary medication at the time, Naomi was able to obtain a biologic cure of hepatitis C in the year 1998. This remarkable achievement is a monument to both the advancement of medical science and the tenacity of the individual. This cure was especially significant because it revealed that chronic hepatitis C could be successfully treated, which offered hope to millions of people all over the world who were suffering from the condition. This triumph over her sickness represented the beginning of a new chapter in Naomi's life. It allowed her to regain her health and energy, and it also made it possible for her to resume her career as a musician and her involvement in public life. When the Judds got back together for a magnificent New Year's Eve concert in 1999 at the America West Arena in Phoenix, Arizona, they did so with the intention of building on their newly found power. In addition to being a celebration of their ongoing connection and musical legacy, this reunion concert was an emotionally charged event that symbolized not only their personal reconciliation with Naomi's health issues, but also all they had accomplished together. The fact that Juana took on the position of Master of Ceremonies is another evidence of the tight relationship that they share. Following the completion of this fruitful reunion, the Judds set out on the Power to Change tour, which lasted throughout the year 2000. Their trademark harmonies and performances that are filled with emotion have the ability to captivate audiences all over the country. There was a palpable energy and passion from their followers, which demonstrated that the duo's allure had not diminished despite the fact that they had been away for a number of years. There is a live album called The Judds Reunion Live that was created to immortalize the Phoenix reunion concert. This album gives fans the opportunity to relive the magic of their comeback performance. Their successful comeback to the stage was further affirmed when, in 2001, they were nominated for the Top Vocal Pair of the Year award by the Academy of Country Music. This nomination reflected the acknowledgement that the industry has given to their enduring influence. As Naomi Judd developed her career beyond the realm of music, she also began working with television and written material. She was a judge on the popular talent show Star Search, which was hosted by Arsenio Hall, during the years 2003 to 2004, when she served in that capacity. Because of this capacity, she was able to impart her knowledge of the industry to aspiring artists and serve as a mentor to them, so helping to the growth of fresh talent. The year 2005 marked the beginning of Naomi's very own talk show, which was shown on the Hallmark Channel and titled Naomi's New Morning. During the course of the show's 2 seasons, Naomi was able to interact with a wide range of viewers on a variety of themes, including lifestyle and wellness, as well as inspiration and personal development. Naomi has been a prolific author in addition to her job in television. She has written a number of self-help books that are geared at empowering readers to gracefully embrace the process of aging and the adjustments that occur in life. The book, Naomi's Guide to Aging Gratefully, Facts, Myths, and Good News for Boomers, which was published in 2007, was a remarkable piece of literature that provided the baby boomer generation with wisdom and practical counsel. It combined Naomi's personal observations with specific recommendations for health and lifestyle. The first time Naomi Judd appeared on screen was in the comedy picture More American Graffiti, which was released in 1979. This was the beginning of her career as an actress. Over the course of her career, she has expanded her presence in the entertainment world by becoming not just an actress, but also an executive producer. It was in 1995 when she became the executive producer of the television movie Naomi and Winona, Love Can Build a Bridge, which was based on her own book. The film was made for television. It was via this initiative that she was able to communicate the story of the trip and challenges that the Judd had to go through, so giving their motivational story to a wider audience. In addition, Naomi has appeared as a guest star in a number of well-known television programs, including as Sisters the Client, Third Rock from the Sun, and Touched by an Angel, demonstrating the breadth of her acting abilities. It was in 1993 when she played the major part in the made-for-television Western Rio Diablo, which highlighted her dramatic ability. She acted alongside Kenny Rogers, who was a country music icon at the time. Throughout the late 1990s and early 2000s, Naomi continued her career as an actress. She played the role of Lily Waite in the television film A Holiday Romance, which was centered around the holiday season, and she also made an appearance in the drama film Family Tree in the same year. She also had a cameo appearance in the romance comedy Someone Like You, which was released in 2001 and starred her daughter Ashley Judd. This enabled her to establish a unique family bond through the medium of film. As Naomi continued her acting career into the new millennium, she appeared opposite Laura Prepon in the suspenseful thriller film The Killing Game, which was broadcast on Lifetime television in 2011. In addition, she had roles in a number of films that were broadcast on the Hallmark Channel, such as Nearly Weds and Window Wonderland, both of which were released in 2013. Through the completion of these projects, Naomi was able to continue her presence in stories that were suitable for families and heartwarming, which resonated with viewers. In 2014, she was cast in the part of Honey in the holiday film An Evergreen Christmas, which was released on Netflix. This added to her already established reputation as a well-liked figure in the realm of holiday-themed entertainment. More recently, in the year 2021, Naomi played the role of the grandmother of the main character in the adaptation of V.C. Andrews' novel Ruby that was made for a Lifetime. She was able to demonstrate her continuous relevance and adaptability as an actress by playing this role, which demonstrated her ability to take on complicated roles in current versions. Naomi Judd's personal life was characterized by strong connections, family loyalty, and relationships that had a key part in determining the path that her life and profession would take. In 1964, she tied the knot with Michael Simonella, a significant event that occurred throughout her early adulthood. Naomi's first spouse, Michael, was a marketing analyst, and he was the one with whom she began her family at the beginning of her life. Naomi, who was then navigating life as a young lady with goals that had not yet been fulfilled, made the beginning of a new chapter in her life with the union of these two people. In the same year, Naomi gave birth to her first child, a daughter named Christina Claire Simonella, who would later be known to the rest of the world as Winona Judd. Following Naomi's divorce from Michael, the surname Wana was legally altered to reflect her new identity. However, as time went on, the attachment between the mother and daughter would only end up becoming stronger. Between the years 1972 and 1972, Naomi and Michael were married for a total of 8 years before they decided to divorce. Naomi, who was still in her 20s at the time, found herself mostly responsible for the upbringing of her 2 small kids on her own, and she frequently struggled both financially and emotionally. The events that transpired during this time in her life had a significant impact on her later work for mental health and opportunities for women. Naomi's 2 daughters both went on to acquire prominence in their own way, becoming significant public figures in their own right, although in quite different sectors throughout their lives. Winona, who was born in 1964, obtained her musical talent and her mother's enthusiasm for performing from her mother. Naomi and Wana came up to become the legendary country music duo known as the Judds. This group would go on to become one of the most successful and well-liked bands in the history of country music. Audiences all around the United States and the world were intrigued by the pair, with Naomi playing the role of a wise and guiding maternal figure, and Wana playing the role of a powerful and soulful voice. Fans were greatly moved by the stories that were presented through their music, which was characterized by a blend of classic country, bluegrass, and gospel influences. Throughout the course of their career, the Judds have recorded a number of albums that have topped the charts, won a number of prizes, including Grammy prizes and Country Music Association honors, and become a symbol of resiliency, family unity, and the strength of shared ambitions. It was common for Naomi to talk about the profound connection she experienced while playing alongside Wana, highlighting the fact that their onstage cooperation mirrored the strength of their relationship outside of the stage. Ashley Judd, Naomi's younger daughter, was born in 1968, and she chose to pursue a career in the performing arts as an actor. She chose to go that route instead of the traditional route. Despite the fact that she did not pursue a profession in music as her mother and sister did, Ashley was able to cultivate a remarkable career in Hollywood that lasted for more than 3 decades. As a result of her appearances in a wide variety of films, such as Ruby in Paradise, Kiss the Girls, Double Jeopardy, and Divine Secrets of the Yaya Sisterhood, she became well known for her attractiveness, intelligence, and captivating screen presence. Ashley has become a notable advocate for social justice, women's rights, and global humanitarian issues, working with organizations such as the United Nations Population Fund. In addition to her triumphs in the acting world, Ashley has also gone on to become an accomplished actress. Despite the fact that Juana and Ashley went in different directions, Naomi continued to be a fiercely supportive and loving mother, and she took great delight in the accomplishments of both of her children. Her connections with her children were essential to her life and identity, despite the fact that they were occasionally fraught with difficulties and subjected to scrutiny from the public. After a number of years had passed after the end of her first marriage, Naomi Judd discovered love once more. She tied the knot with Larry Strickland, a fellow artist who had significant roots in Southern gospel music, on May 6, 1989, during their wedding ceremony. It was as a part of the Palmetto State Quartet, a famed gospel quartet, that Strickland gained the majority of his fame. Strickland was originally from North Carolina. Naomi was able to complement her own artistic sensibility with his deep baritone voice and his dedication to music. Naomi's life was distinguished by a period of stability and companionship during their marriage. This period provided her with emotional support throughout the highs and lows of celebrity, as well as during her battles with her health and other personal issues. Other well-known gospel acts, such as Jay, were among others with whom Larry shared the stage. This is the group known as Dumner and the Stamps Quartet, which is famous for being Elvis Presley's backing band during the later portion of his career. The fact that Larry's commitment to his faith, music, and family was so closely linked with Naomi's also contributed to the fact that their marriage was one of mutual respect and enduring devotion. Over the course of more than 3 decades, the pair remained married, and Larry was there for Naomi throughout her battles with mental illness, particularly in her latter years. A profound and everlasting love that lasted until Naomi's untimely death in 2022 was reflected in his presence in her life, which was frequently noted as being reminiscent of a nurturing and grounding presence. Fans, friends, and family members were all left in a state of disbelief after the untimely death of Naomi Judd on April 30th, 2022. Furthermore, for a considerable amount of time, the circumstances surrounding her passing remained cloaked in ambiguity, sadness, and questions that refused to be answered. There was more to Naomi than just her status as a music star. She was one half of the famed mother-daughter country combo known as the Judds. Her life was a representation of tenacity, perseverance, and success in the face of hardship. A lifetime of personal challenges that were significantly more intricate and agonizing than the majority of fans ever understood existed behind the brilliant lights and beautiful harmonies that were performed by the band. In the entertainment industry, there was a wave of skepticism that swept through the industry when it was first reported that Naomi had committed herself. I don't understand how someone who was so vivacious, so well liked, and who appeared to be on the verge of a tremendous career celebration, including an induction into the Country Music Hall of Fame the very next day, could have happened. A decision to take her own life. Because there were no quick details available, curiosity and anguish simply grew more intense. Initially, the family chose to keep the circumstances a secret, as it was understandable that they desired to grieve in private. Nevertheless, as time went on, the need for answers only increased in intensity, and eventually, the reality that was so sad was revealed. For a considerable amount of time, Naomi Judd had been struggling with severe depression that was resistant to therapy, a fact that she had disclosed in interviews and in her memoir. She had been very open and honest about her mental illness, which included terrible anxiety, panic attacks, and a profound and unending grief that clouded her thoughts and days. However, what many people failed to recognize was the extent to which her illness had deteriorated in the years leading up to her death. Naomi's mental health continued to deteriorate despite the fact that she was involved in therapy, taking medication, and receiving steadfast support from her children, Winona and Ashley. The true mystery, which was why she would choose to terminate her life on the eve of such a monumental career achievement, was finally resolved when her family disclosed further details from her final days. Naomi had been battling with scary delusions, intrusive thoughts, and an overpowering sense of hopelessness, according to Ashley Judd, who was the one who found her mother on that tragic day. The agony of continuing to live had reached a point where it was intolerable for her to continue living. The report that was issued later by the medical examiner verified that Naomi had died from a gunshot wound that she had self-inflicted. The report also noted the presence of pharmaceuticals that were used to treat bipolar disorder and post-traumatic stress disorder (PTSD) in her system, which indicated the intensity of her internal struggle. Perhaps the most heartbreaking revelation was the extent of the anguish and secrecy that Naomi had been subjected to throughout her life. Even though the world was set to recognize her great contributions to music, her daughters claimed that she had grown increasingly alienated, paranoid, and convinced that she was a burden. This occurred at a time when the world was poised to praise her. It was not a coincidence that she passed away at that particular moment. Rather, it was a heartbreaking outpouring of sorrow at a time when she felt the least deserving of attention. According to reports, the message that Naomi left behind before she committed suicide, which was later confirmed by her family, showed grief, guilt, and a longing for peace. The evidence of a mind that is at battle with itself is quite heartbreaking. Many people were left wondering how a life that was so public and appeared to be filled with joy could be affected by something that was so profoundly gloomy after these disclosures were made public. The decision made by the Judd family to discuss Naomi's mental health was not made without much thought or consideration. They are hoping that by doing so, they would be able to reduce the stigma associated with talking about depression and suicide, particularly among older folks, who are a population that is frequently ignored in talks about mental health. The sadness that Ashley and Winona have experienced has been turned into a goal to educate and help others who are going through similar struggles. They have continued to speak up. Even yet, the mystery surrounding Naomi Judd's passing continues to be a terribly painful one. It is not because it has not been solved, but rather because it has been thus. The truth is a harsh reality. A talented artist is shown to have been ruined by a sickness that continues to be misunderstood and vilified at this time. Even in the modern world, Naomi's life was full of beauty, brilliance, and triumph. Nevertheless, it was also plagued with deep scars that never fully healed or were completely healed. The truth about what happened to her is not a positive one. This piece serves as a sobering and gut-wrenching reminder that love and achievement are not always sufficient to silence the monsters that reside within. Her story has become a rallying cry for more awareness of mental illness, particularly among the population that is getting older. The message is that emotional suffering should be treated with the same level of compassion and urgency as physical illness. Additionally, it is a request for compassion, for listening, for understanding, and for keeping in mind that even people who shine the brightest on stage may be struggling in quiet when the lights go out. This is arguably the most crucial aspect of the request.